So yes, just the code I was going to read is an XC7A15T, and this is an XC7915T. So it is the same. It is the same major chip, and this one looks to be the same as well. An ATS AM3UI FC ATS MTC. I think that's slightly different. I'll be able to actually view it in the video afterwards and maybe make it out better from there. Let's just move these around just so you can see, just in case the lights are different. So again, we'll keep moving around the parts and just to see is there any difference as well. Now the phone or the headphone out jacks do yeah, they are different. I thought they were the same initially, but no, they're a little longer and larger, and you do feel that actually when you plug in the headphone jack, that they're quite different. So let's see, Mojo 2, October 2020. Designed by Rob Watts. There you are, Mojo issue 2. This was still an issue 2. But that's interesting. So 2020 is written on the board. So these boards were signed off quite a while ago, and that's a shame. So these maybe been sitting for a while. So I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if these boards are a couple of years old. And does that mean the batteries also are already 2 years old before we bought them? So that's interesting. So what else can we show from the arrangement? So this is our pin arrangement. This is for coding the chips. I would say that these are manufactured, I'm sure, in China, but it'd be interesting to know if they are actually made here. But I would say they're made in China, and they're brought in, and then whenever they're brought in, then they're coded afterwards, just so that the code remains secret. So again, these two input, these are the 3.5. Oh, yes, these are the standard. That's interesting. So where has our USB port gone to? So the USB port. Sorry, excuse me there. Let me take these out of the way. So the USB port is just here. So the USB is fixed to the underside of the board. Interesting. Right, so that's why. Okay, yes, because I suppose the line of this, the interference or the alignment of this had to be exactly the same, because this still needs to work, of course, with the Mojo. So this part looks exactly the same. We 1, 2, 3, 4 pads now instead of the 3 pads. Again, let's change this screw, which is in, and I would say, just from looking at the part size, that they've come down a size in the parts. They definitely are much. Yeah, they're a smaller scale than the others. So I don't know, anybody out there, if they can maybe enlighten us with any other significant changes that you can see here. But I suppose the output side, if we look around here on the output side, it's very similar. Let me see. Yes, I don't think that's changed actually at all. Apart from this line of capacitors. This line has changed, and you can see what I mean about the size of the parts. These are much smaller, especially this guy down here. But this output side, I don't think that's changed at all actually, which is interesting now. the arrangement here has changed as well, and yes, this arrangement has changed. It does look a fuller board, I have to say. It does look a better realised board. You know, they did have to fit a lot in here. And again, so they've moved this. This is the 5V DC. So they have moved that. This is your 5V DC. So so they've moved actually the specification on the part is better. Or does that say? I can't actually read that. It's so small. So they've moved this over and got rid of these capacitors to allow them to get this extra button in. I'll maybe take out this fixing, will I? And we'll have a look underneath it and see exactly what's there. But yeah, that's. I do like the black board, actually. That's quite nice. Now, one big thing that they've mentioned on the Mojo 2 actually is its ability to identify or correctly understand whether it's been plugged into the wall or it's been charged or it's been run off the battery, and it goes into a desktop mode, I think they call it, after a while. So I wonder, is it sensing the DC voltage rather than AC coming into it? It probably is, and that's quite good, because it means then that if like I have used this actually in my main system, that when you do connect this up, it's always draining from the battery. So you'll find that after an evening of listening to it, maybe the output again from these is well, you've set it to the unity gain, or the highest output, and it does drain the battery quite a bit quicker. So you do notice after a couple of hours, maybe listening to it in a main system, that it does stop working, or it clicks out. Whereas in this, of course, it well, I haven't tried it yet, but it hopefully won't. I'm just looking as well on the actual machining of the parts. So the grade of aluminium looks very similar. I wonder, is it the same part? Have they reused the part? Well, this would have been machined from a well, it wouldn't be a billet actually. There's one thing. The cables are much finer than the cables I got from the aftermarket. That's interesting. I wonder why these are so fine. So the machining in round the UK, it is very neat, I have to say. And there's very little tooling marks actually. There definitely was some tooling marks from this when we took out the battery. So there was some tooling marks from this when we took the battery out, and it doesn't. Sorry, there are some there. We can see them down there, but they're very neat, I have to say. So that's just a small look inside, so we can see that there has been significant changes in the time. But I have to say the biggest interest that for me is this date that's on the board. Now, of course, that is the design date. Whenever you sign off a board, like anything like that, you put your date of finalization on it, and then that's sent to manufacturer. So, but the reason I mention that is because I suggest that the time that it took for maybe the board to be designed, and then I'm only suggesting that it was made in China. I don't know, but I will actually, maybe on head file, I'll ask the question to Rob Watts if he would answer the question. If they're populated in England, even better, because I know that they definitely have the equipment and the potential to do it here. But I'm wondering, was that the reason that these were designed here, then the components and the boards were either sent, or simply the design was sent to China, and the the time that it took for the board to be made and shipped back again with COVID as the one thing that set this back, and that's why it's well, it's 2 years later that we're seeing the actual product. Just offering these up to each other as well. Yeah, these are the same size. Now try to bring those across. So it is the same billet or blank that they're using initially to mill from, but of course they've got less machining to do around here. So I thought, I hope you find that of interest. And of course the other big thing is we can remove the battery, which is brilliant. Okay, so I'll put these together again, and in the next video maybe we'll have a discussion about the operation and how it's changed.